I try.
Hi, Beta Vita Sai with the New York Taxi Workers Alliance.
Excellent. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Thank you for being here. What a beautiful sight.
How are you?
All right. We all set to get going? Okay. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. I want to thank my co-leads on the bill, Representative Don Norcross, who I think is going to join us, and Representative Ilhan Omar. I also want to thank the National Employment Law Project, tremendous work, and look at this incredible coalition of folks from across the country. I do have to give a special shout out to Peter Quill from my home state of Washington, as well as all the other leaders and organizers from around the country, many of whom you'll hear from shortly. Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Amazon Delivery. These are multi-billion-dollar corporations that have built their empires, stealing from the people who actually provide their services. And I want to start with the rideshare apps specifically. They have a, quote, take rate. This is the amount they withhold on a ride for their own profit. And here's the issue. That take rate is not fixed. It varies, and it can be up to 70% of the charge for the ride. And that means on a $15 Uber ride, your driver could be taking home less than $5 of that fare. That's just a ripoff for the workers and for the consumers who are using that service. And this is all because of a so-called upfront pricing model, which was put in place in 2022, and it decoupled passenger fares from driver pay. So who decides how much a driver gets paid if it's not a fixed percentage of the fare that they accept? You got it. It's an algorithm that's programmed by surveilling consumer and worker data. And the algorithm is set to make the corporation's money not benefit drivers or consumers. These are workers providing a service who are being ripped off by employers. It's that simple. And now have to deal with customers who don't understand why they are getting charged so much. It's not a shocking outcome that this has meant that profits at these corporations are up. Uber nearly doubled its revenue between 2023 and 2024 and used that to pay their CEO $39 million in 2024. He gets paid millions, while the workers who make his corporation profitable get nickel and dimed. I'm very proud that my hometown of Seattle has taken steps to install a minimum pay requirement, sick leave, and protections from arbitrary account deactivation. We need these protections and more nationwide. And that's why we're standing here today with this incredible coalition to introduce the Empowering App-Based Workers Act. This bill will add enforceable guardrails to ensure that workers are treated fairly and that there is transparency and accountability on how these algorithms are used. Our bill will require detailed weekly pay statements and itemized receipts. It will guarantee rideshare drivers 75% of every single fare. It will shine a light on how these algorithms are used and ensure that there is equal pay for equal work across the board. And it will require that all of this information is not only available to workers, but also to consumers who are calling a ride or ordering food. So I want to thank you all so much for being here. And Representative Norcross is not here yet, so we're going to go to our next speaker, and let me introduce Laura Padine, the Senior Director of Work Structures at the National Employment Law Project.
Thank you so much, Representative. Hi, everyone. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be here today to celebrate the introduction of the Empowering App-Based Workers Act. Thank you, Representative Jayapal, for your leadership and tireless advocacy for working people. My name's Laura Padine. I'm the Director of Work Structures at the National Employment Law Project, an organization dedicated to making all jobs good jobs. Yes. For decades now, we've seen corporations like Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Instacart, and Amazon sell working people a myth about flexibility and independence. while using apps and algorithms that operate like automated bosses, surveilling workers' every move and determining everything from which assignments are offered to which workers, how much workers are paid, and whether they get future assignments or are deactivated. Now we're seeing app-based work spread to other occupations, from bartending to nursing, where corporations are using platforms to make workers compete against each other for jobs and drive down wages and working conditions, all while charging customers more. I'm proud to be here today with workers from across the country to demand that Congress take action, to demand real transparency about the terms and conditions of app-based work, including workers' pay and how much of the total amount charged to customers is going to corporations instead of workers, to expose the automated decision-making systems behind the apps and how corporations are collecting and using our data against us, and to put guardrails on the corporation's conduct, including limiting how these corporations use our data so they can't pay two workers doing the same work different amounts based on their personal data. It's time for Congress to stand with working people and against the corporations that are squeezing more out of us. It's time to hold these corporations accountable and pass the Empowering App-Based Workers Act. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Next up, please welcome Bhairavi Desai, the president of the New York Taxi Workers Alliance.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. I'm Bhairavi Desai, Executive Director of the New York Taxi Workers Alliance. We are a proud union of over 28,000 members in New York City. Every single day, over 80,000 Uber and Lyft drivers serve over 800,000 people in New York City. We are a global city because of the blood and the sweat of the drivers. Uber and Lyft are brand names. They're household names because of the blood and the sweat of the drivers. We are sick and tired of these companies exploiting the workers. They are making billions, and yet they believe that the workers should be left with dollars, sometimes even pennies. In New York, we were able to win unemployment rights for drivers, for Uber and Lyft drivers. And one of the reasons is because the lead driver in that case was able to show that after expenses, he was left with earning just $1 for that entire week of work. You can bet that during that same week, Uber and Lyft would have taken in billions from the labor of all of the drivers. We have seen that as these companies monopolize, as they have more customers, they continue to raise the fares on the public while they reduce the amount that drivers are paid. That is all the more painful, especially when you have short trips and you have trips where they're paying you less and less. We need Congress to step in and ensure that there is real justice in this industry from which there are hundreds of thousands of workers that depend on this labor and which entire cities depend on the labor of this workforce. It's time for this act to pass. We need a leveled playing field across the country with a national floor that then we can have local regulations to uplift so that there is no ceiling on what the workers can earn. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I've now been joined by my co-lead, Representative Don Norcross from the great state of New Jersey, who's been a real champion for workers. Thrilled to be co-leading this with you. Representative Norcross.
Thank you, Pramila, and it's good to be here. Let's hear it. Listen, interesting enough, the one word I heard you speak of is a worker. And this is where the DoorDashes, the Ubers of the world, don't look at you as workers. They look at you as pieces in a puzzle, that you are an entrepreneur. They have abused our system, the National Labor Relations Act, to the degree we are here today. So, Pramila, thank you for what you're doing here, bringing this to our attention. This is incredibly important. I'm an electrician by trade. Yes, it was a few years ago, but I understood who my boss was. I understood how much I got paid per hour, what my benefits were. That's what you understand as part of the relationship between employer and employee. This is why this bill is important. They don't think of you as workers, as I just said. You're a piece in the puzzle. And the idea that you don't know how you're being paid, you don't know what benefits, how you're getting that ride, how you're not doing that. Early on, the DoorDashes of the world came to see me in the office because they knew my position on labor, and they wanted to work it out. I said, great, that's a great idea. Start treating them as real people so they know how much they can make, and make those choices that normally workers can do each and every day. But what we've seen is the exploitation. And it's even harder because you only get a number. You don't know how you got there. You don't know how it's calculated. And more importantly, we don't know how much they're keeping. But one thing we are absolutely certain of is they're making millions and millions and millions of dollars. Anybody here making millions? No. I don't think so. But you're providing the service that is just so important, particularly here in Washington. You make things go. It was a great concept. You just forgot to employ real workers. So that's why we're here today on this bill. It's incredibly important that you know how and why. And ultimately, we want you to be covered under the National Labor Relations Act. So you're treated just like we are. Yes. Thank you for being here today, and let's not give up the fight.
Thank you, Don. Awesome. Let me next introduce Mitchell Youngson, the director of the Asian American Pacific Islander Civic Engagement Collaborative.
That was a mouthful.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Representative Jayapal. Thank you, NELP. We are the ACE Collaborative of New Virginia Majority and the DMV Drivers Alliance. We've been organizing Uber and Lyft drivers in Virginia, Maryland, and DC for a couple of years. We are proud to join other organizations and other Uber and Lyft drivers across the state to support this bill, the Empowering App-Based Workers Act, because it will ensure that Uber and Lyft drivers and gig workers get paid fairly and treated fairly. We want the public to know, we want elected officials to know that the majority of the fare that you pay and you get charged for is made up of fees. Those fees go to these companies like Uber and Lyft, not to your local Uber driver, not to your local gig worker. And as you see these consumer fees go up, just know that the driver's compensation is going down. And these workers are driving more hours. They're sacrificing their lives. They're sacrificing their time with their family. They're even sacrificing their lives. There's even a few drivers that have died for this type of work. Now, I guess this is a small price to pay because the CEOs of Uber and Lyft, they just don't give a damn. They are smiling as they post billions in profits and they spend billions of dollars in stock buybacks. But we have to fight back. So we are encouraging and imploring the federal officials to pass this bill because it is good for the American worker, it is good for the Main Street economy, and is not good for the Wall Street economy. Thank you.
That's right. Yeah. Beautifully said. Let me introduce now Nupur Chowdhury, who is an app-based driver and organizer with the same organization.
Hey everyone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Nupur Chowdhury and I am Housing and Labor Justice Community Organizer at Asian American Pacific Islander Collaborative and the DMV Drivers Alliance, who fight to empower gig drivers in this area for better working conditions. I am also a part-time Uber driver and I have been driving around 8 years. And the federal bill called the Empowering App-Based Workers Act important to us to pass. This bill is not just about ensuring fairness. It's about empowering the both drivers and passengers with the vital information that will improve their livelihoods. We, the drivers, do the majority of the work, and while Uber or Lyft are taking the majority of the share, and their profits are soaring. This is the reminder. Without drivers, no rideshare business can exist.
That's right. Exactly right.
We are the ones who do the hard work. That's why organizations, supporters, and drivers are here today to fight. Although I'm legally considered an independent contractor, Uber is actually treating me and all the drivers as second-class employees with little to no labor protections and rights. Because of that, drivers across the states are showing their power here today and want our federal official to pass the bill. The time is now. The time is now. We still call upon government officials to support all the drivers and DMV drivers. We are working hard to change not only national laws but also the local laws in this area. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Nupur. And now, let me introduce my hometown president of the Washington Drivers Union, Peter Quill.
When we fight,
we win.
raise your voice. When we fight,
We win.
when we fight,
We win.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Congresswoman Jayapal, Congress Dan, dear brothers and sisters. It is great that we all stand here today. My name is Peter Quill, President of Drivers Union. I was a taxi driver, a proud small business owner, before company like Uber and Lyft came in. They came in and took everything we worked for. Everything we built was our own hand and his wit. Today, drivers like me are at the mercy of hidden algorithms that decide our pay, that dictate ours, and take a huge cut of every ride. With our explanation, without fairness, we are working harder than ever, yet we are denied basic transparency and control over our own livelihood. This bill gives us hope. It makes pay and ride assignment clear. Cab company take rate at 25%. Protect our wage from being unfairly manipulated using our personal data and ensure equal pay for equal work. For the first time, drivers like me are fighting at the national level a chance to earn what we deserve. Congress, the time to act is now. Gig workers deserve dignity, fair and real opportunity to support themselves and their family, not to be exploited by invisible system designed to prioritize profit over people. We are asking for more than a law. We are asking justice, for the respect, and for the chance to build the future with our own labor. Please stand with us. And again, I would like to thank our members of Congress and all the people who are working to support this bill. Thank you so much. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Peter. And now from Colorado, please welcome Kareem Sawadogo, an organizer representative for the Colorado Independent Drivers United.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Karim Sawadogo. I'm a rideshare driver in Colorado, and I'm also organizer with Colorado Independent Driver United. local 7, CWA local 7777. It's truly an honor to stand before you today to ask for transparency and protection. We came here to let Congress know that driving for Uber and Lyft has been that opportunity for many of us. But I can tell you from experience, it's not easy. Too often, drivers work long hours and still struggle to make ends meet. Too often, we are deactivated without warning, losing our income overnight. And too often, those billion-dollar companies treat us as a number on the screen instead of human being with family to feed. That is why we form a Colorado Independent Driver United to give drivers a voice and power to fight back. With the support of our Congressmen, Jason Crow, Gianna DJ, Zoe Nugis, and Senator Bennett and John Hickenlooper, we have already made progress. We want pay transparency and fair deactivation so drivers can get back on the road. We have won the recognition from the city of Denver to study drivers' pay and protection. And most importantly, we built a growing driver support organization, DSO, to stand together for dignity and fairness. We did all that with the help of Tour Justice, Nina and David. We thank them for the work they help us to achieve. I would love to see the same benefit all nationwide, not only Colorado. But this fight is bigger than rideshare. The greed of Uber and Lyft is the same greed that harm workers and communities across the world and the U.S. And only way to win against that kind of power is by setting up the take rate 75% for the drivers, and also ban hidden algorithm pay, stop collecting and using driver data to control them, banning certain ways based on worker individual, and we want equal pay, equal work. So today I want to say, my fellow drivers, your struggle is mine, and our fight for drivers is fight for community. Together, we build the power, take on the corporate greed, and create future for where the wealth we create serve the people, not just for the company. Thank you and congratulations to Empowering App-Based Worker Act. I'm asking Congress to support the bill. And again, I'm asking my hometown senators, Hickenlooper and Senator Bennett, to help support the bill. Thank you.
Great. From Colorado, we go to Connecticut. Alex Johnson, Connecticut Drivers United, app-based driver and organizer.
Hello, everyone. Yesterday, my fellow driver organizers from Connecticut Drivers United and I drove 300 miles to stand here today and boldly say to these companies, enough is enough. We face the House of Representatives to demand that they pass the Empowering App-Based Workers Act now. I have been an app-based worker for 6 years, driven by no other options. I drive over 20,000 miles a year just trying to make ends meet and pay my bills. What's another 309 miles to come here today and to demand my rights? Working 4 jobs, half of which are app-based, I've learned that no matter how hard I work, whether I drive 18 hours a day, it's never enough. We all just want to work enough to support ourselves and our families and enjoy a decent quality of life without being driven into exhaustion. And let me tell you something, I am tired, okay? I am so tired that it gets into your bones. I am the type of tired that I don't know if I'm going to make it to my bed at the end of the night without falling asleep in the hallway. But I am never too tired to stand here. And my heart and the fire inside there will never be too tired to keep fighting for equal pay for equal work with my fellow drivers. I will never be too tired to cry out for empowerment through transparency with these companies, because if you're not doing anything wrong, what do you have to hide? I am most definitely not too tired to demand drivers get to take home 75% of every fare, especially when we do 90% of the work. I feel like we're being more than generous. I will be never too tired to stand up for myself and my fellow drivers, which is what they want. You, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, want to wear me down into apathetic exhaustion, but that will not happen under any condition. Not while I'm standing arm in arm here with my fellow drivers saying no more. Let me hear it. No more. Pass the empowering app-based workers app. Say it with me. Pass it now. Pass it now. Pass it now. Pass it now. Thank you.
All right, we've got two more speakers. This organizing is just amazing across the country. So please help me welcome Alvaro Bolaños, an app-based driver and organizer with Rideshare Drivers United.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Alvaro Bolaños, and I am a driver in Los Angeles, California. I didn't drive all the way here. I flew. I've been an Uber and Lyft driver for the past 12 years. Some people ask me why I'm still doing this. The answer is simple. Number one, I'm not a quitter. I'm a fighter. And history will prove that standing up is the right thing. Everything we have today exists because someone fought for it, including our freedom. Cesar Chavez had to fight for agricultural workers, and now we are fighting for app-based workers. Number two, we invested in these companies. Long before they became household names, nobody knew who they were. Until drivers like me, we spread the word and helped build their platforms. In these 12 years, I've gone through 3 cars. My current car is less than a year old, and it already has 30,000 miles. We love what we do, and this is why we're here, fighting for better treatment for app-based workers. I've been in this fight for the past 9 years. It's extremely difficult to stand up against billion-dollar companies. And that's why I urge the Congress to pass the Empowering App-Based Workers Act. This legislation will finally give us the tool that we need to make this fight, to make this a fair fight. We helped create these companies, and now they are using our own money to undermine workers. They are even using our own earnings to finance robo-taxis with the clear goal of replacing us. We need the Empowering App-Based Workers Act to prevent them from creating their own laws at the state level. For example, in California, they created Prop 22, which exempt them for all labor rights entirely. We are simple asking for fairness, dignity, and a voice on the job. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Alvaro. And now let's go to New Jersey. Joseph Never, a staff attorney at Make the Road, New Jersey.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us here today. My name is Joe Niver. I'm a workers' rights attorney at Make the Road, New Jersey. Make the Road has thousands of members across the state, many of whom work as Amazon Flex drivers. For years, these workers have been demanding fair pay, safe working conditions, and they've staged walkouts, held rallies, and collected petition signatures from their colleagues. Has Amazon listened to them? No. In fact, Amazon doesn't even consider them employees, and that's the problem. Flex drivers work long hours in unsafe conditions with no benefits, in violation of our labor laws, of their rights as workers, and in violation of common respect and dignity. Why is it acceptable for $1 trillion company to do this? The answer is it's not. Our state attorney general, Matt Platkin, has just sued Amazon for these labor law violations, but we here today know that this isn't just an Amazon problem. This isn't just a New Jersey problem. It is a nationwide problem. The biggest corporations in the world, from Amazon to Uber, use the app-based work model to escape regulation and accountability. As a result, my clients and our members experience dangerous working conditions, poverty wages, and unpredictable work schedules, and no benefits, no health care, no workers' comp, no family leave, no sick days, making it impossible for them to care for their families. That's why we support the Empowering App-Based Workers Act. I want to thank Congresswoman Jayapal, Congresswoman Omar, and of course Congressman Norcross of our great state of New Jersey for putting this bill together. This bill promotes transparency and accountability. It caps the amount of money these corporations take from workers' paychecks, and it bans predatory practices like using AI to set wages. We know more work has to happen to hold these corporations accountable, but this bill is a crucial first step, and it's time for Congress to step up, protect these workers, and get it passed. Thank you.
And last, but certainly not least, Jose Yosi, an organizer with Los Deliveristas Unidos.
Deliveristas,
Power!
Union,
Power!
Thank you so much. Muy buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es José Yos. Soy líder de los Deliveristas Unidos, miembro del proyecto Justicia Laboral. Y soy deliverista de DoorDash y Uber. Hoy estoy aquí desde el Capitolio representando a millones de deliveristas que vivimos una realidad de las corporaciones no quieren que ustedes conozcan. Quiero agradecer a la representante Jayapal por su valentía al presentar este proyecto de ley que exige algo simple, pero muy poderoso: transparencia. Trabajar para las aplicaciones significa vivir de guardia todos los días. No tenemos horarios. El algoritmo decide por nosotros. Nuestro pago cambia de minuto a otro. No hay responsabilidad, no hay beneficios y enfrentamos peligros reales en las calles, accidentes, violencia, robos. Aún así, las compañías siguen actuando como si nuestras vidas fueran desechables. Lo más grave es que somos controlados por algoritmos ocultos que funcionan como jefes automáticos. Ellos deciden cuándo ganamos, qué pedimos, recibimos y vigilan todo lo que hacemos. Y mientras tanto, estas empresas repiten la mentira de que este trabajo es solo un part-time. Pero por eso los digo con claridad. Esto no es trabajo extra, es nuestro sustento. En Nueva York hemos logrado avances con nuestra unión, los Deliveristas Unidos, junto con el proyecto Justicia Laboral, pero no es suficiente. Somos millones de deliveristas en todo el país, trabajando para un robot que controla nuestro trabajo, vende nuestra dignidad como innovación y nos contrata como si fuéramos desechables. Dicen que tenemos flexibilidad, pero sabemos la verdad, la flexibilidad la tienen ellos. Los deliveristas que arriesgamos la vida entregando comida, medicina y lo esencial en todo el país. Por eso este proyecto de ley es tan importante. Trae transparencia real sobre cuándo se llevan las empresas de cada pedido. Muchas veces incluso nos roban nuestro salario. A mí DoorDash me robó parte de mi pago y todos hemos visto cómo DoorDash usaba las propinas para completar el pago en lugar de pagar lo que corresponde. Esconde la información para robarnos y encima nos obliga a trabajar rápido, sin protecciones. Usan nuestros datos para hacer este trabajo más peligroso mientras se llenan los bolsillos con millones de dólares en ganancias, y a nosotros nos pagan $4 o $5 por hora, obligándonos a ganar menos que el salario mínimo. Este proyecto de ley expone cómo usan nuestros datos para controlarnos y garantiza igual pago por igual trabajo, prohibiendo que los salarios se basan en nuestros datos personales. Este proyecto es solo un primer paso, pero es un paso poderoso para empezar a equilibrar el poder entre los trabajadores y las corporaciones multimillonarias. El Congreso debe apoyar esta ley, porque apoyar a los deliveristas y a los taxistas de las aplicaciones significa enfrentar a las empresas que están experimentando en nuestras familias. Muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Jose. I have to run to a hearing, but I want to thank everybody so much for being here. The organizing across the country is so inspiring, and it makes it clear that workers are going to fight for what you deserve, and we here in Congress are going to make sure that workers united will never be divided. Workers united will never be defeated. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. You got a photo op? Get it. Photo? You ever in for a photo?
Yeah, photo.
Photo op?
Did you guys bring the camera?
No.